breaking news from Shams Charania. Ja Morant, Memphis Grizzlies point guard, has been traded to the Portland TrailBlazers for Jerami Grant and Kris Murray. Wow, the NBA offseason continues to shock. June 29th at 4:36 p.m. today. So another trade has happened this offseason. This has got to be one of the most interesting off seasons in terms of just straight up trades and everything that's gone on so far. With this, Ja Morant will be joining the Portland TrailBlazers, which is a very interesting landing spot for Sir Ja Morant. When you look at what the TrailBlazers might be trying to accomplish with this move, they get rid of two big men. I mean, Jerami Grant's been there for a while, and, Kris Murray, I guess small forward, really was a rotation guy. But this is really interesting from the Portland TrailBlazers. I'm honestly curious to see what they're going to do. I think this means that they probably have another move coming when you look at their current depth chart, because you're going to have Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Shadyon Sharpe, and now Ja Morant. That's a lot of talent there at the guard position, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move moving one of these guards. Or possibly, are they going to try to make Ja Morant run backup point guard, maybe Scoot Henderson run backup point guard? Shadyon Sharpe moves into a shooting guard slot just behind Drew Holiday. I mean, there's versatility here now with Portland. And honestly, I don't really mind this trade. I mean, Jerami Grant, let's face it, he's been, a solid role player over the years. Obviously, he's had highs, a couple 20-point seasons here and there. But for Portland, it's been a guy, that they've had in the starting lineup, but he was coming off the bench a little bit last year. Solid shooter all around, but, he's not really giving you that much value as, what they need for their current stats is. Portland, we're the 7th seed this year in the playoffs, and they did steal a game from the Spurs. Granted, Wembanyama was injured, but this team obviously has potential to be a playoff team going forward. I mean, they got good young depth. Obviously Klingon and Williams there at center. Adiva, I'll see if he plays like that again. Kamara, small forward, and they got Thibault off the bench. So, there's some interesting pieces on this Portland TrailBlazers team. And I believe they just hired a new coach. Yes, the Portland TrailBlazers hired Micah Nori, an assistant basketball coach from Minnesota since 2021. He was in Detroit for a couple years before that, Denver, Sacramento, Toronto. So he's been around the league. He's an assistant coach. It'll be interesting to see. This is his first chance being a head coach in the NBA. We'll see what he's able to do with this Portland TrailBlazers roster. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to make another move here, maybe move one of those guards, maybe move a Scoot Henderson, maybe move a Shadyon Sharpe. I don't think they would get rid of Drew Holiday unless they're going with the youth movement, but I think Drew Holiday's a perfect player for a team like them, trying to compete for the playoffs, and he's a great leader, and he's been there, done that. So I think overall, Portland's got to be pretty happy with this. And yeah, like I said, Kris Murray and Jermai Grant, yes, that's some scoring there, but Kris Murray really wasn't doing much for them in terms of value that someone like Ja Morant's going to do. So for Portland, I like this trade. I think it's interesting. It gives them flexibility to see what they want to do at the guard position moving forward. Now on the Memphis, obviously, a rebuilding team here. Just got Cameron Boozer, and now they pick up Grant and Murray. It'll be interesting to see what this means going forward. They'll probably have Scottie Pippen Jr., I'd assume, or Ty Jerome, maybe running point guard for them next season. We'll see what they do in free agency. I'm assuming they're going to have to pick up somebody. Obviously, Cedric Coward's there at shooting guard, but he's not really much of a playmaker that they would want. And honestly, it's kind of a puzzling decision, though. I'm sure they could have gotten a better deal than what they got. I really think if they were going to trade Ja Morant, it should have been a guard for guard exchange. I don't know how I necessarily feel about them getting two forwards, one that's older and declining, and another one that really hasn't done much in his career. I mean, Jeremy Grant's 32. He's going to be 33 next year. I don't know exactly what his contract is. Looking at Jeremiah Grant's contract now, it looks like probably was more or less, salary swap to match somewhat to John Morant's contract. Jeremy Grant has a player option next season, not this year, but he's fully guaranteed 34 mil for the upcoming year. John Morant is making around 42 million, so evens out there, probably just salary and contract matching there. But yeah, I mean, it's curious. I'm curious what you guys think down below of how this trade will affect both teams. I mean, for Memphis, obviously they're rebuilding, so maybe we'll see how next season goes. I'm curious to see what they're going to do in free agency coming up here shortly. But, the John Morant era, the big three of Memphis is over. Stuff ain't sweet in the West, Mr. John Morant, as it turns out. And yeah, we'll see what John Morant can do with another opportunity, I guess, to really prove himself in the NBA. Will be interesting. Portland, John Morant. Grades for this trade. Honestly, I'm going to give Portland an A-. I feel like they didn't really give up that much. They get John Morant, and it gives them great flexibility at point guard. And while John Morant, has his off-the-court issues, obviously, and, has been injured prone, you could say, the last couple of years, he still has, solid production and can get stuff done for you. And then for Memphis, I don't honestly know how I really feel about it. I mean, I'm going to give him a C, maybe C-, just because I really feel like they could have gotten a better deal here for John Morant. I mean, I really don't think Chris Murray is going to be all that much. And, Jeremy Grant, I feel like they could have used a guard swap there, if anything. But yeah, that's John Morant's now a Trailblazer.